morning, Marco. This is the Good Morning Marco podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Kraley.
And I'm Ryan Sullivan.
And today we have some special guests.
My name is Mike Olcha.
And I am Laura Olcha, Michael's wife.
We're the owners of Marco Island Bait and Tackle.
It is so awesome to have you guys. Before we keep going and ask you guys a couple questions, we're going to go ahead and get some housekeeping stuff done.
First things first, we've got merch. Jordan, go ahead and hold up that beautiful t-shirt.
I'm going to show you the front and then the back.
Yeah, so these are the t-shirts that we are selling. Of course, you heard about those in our announcement that we posted earlier in the week. I guess last week. You can buy these at our live stream that we're doing on the 30th as well. These are going for $25. While supplies last, we will be reordering these as well. I love these t-shirts so much. They are turning heads when you walk down the street. They're great shirts as well. Then we also have these wonderful baseball caps. I love these a lot. These are available for a limited time only while supplies last, so make sure that you get them. They are selling for $30. You will not be able to get them once we run out, and then we will be dropping a new style of hat. We are also, if you want to take that and just throw it somewhere, I don't care. We will also be available for pre-order 2 different pieces of merch. Of course, the Good Morning Marco mugs, as you were seeing on screen right now, as well as the Make Marco Great Again hat, which will also be going for $30. I only got this hat for myself. But so many people asked me, it's like, Ryan, you need to sell this for the podcast. And I'm like, all right. Once I had 12 different people tell me, I want to buy that hat, I'm like, okay, I will make more. So they will be available both in Good Morning Marco Orange and Good Morning Marco Blue. So make sure to get your Make Marco Great Again hats as well. Those are, once again, only available for pre-order. Get your pre-orders in by January 20th. Then we will be sending those out in February. With that, also, Jordan, what are we doing at the next week, I guess, this upcoming Monday?
So this upcoming Monday, we have our Good Morning Marco New Year's party. It's going to be at the wonderful Cavaculture Marco Island.
Where else would it be?
Of course. We'll have all of our merch there. We'll have a setup. So we're going to do the party at 7 and a live stream at 8. So if you have any questions or anything you'd like to go on the record and say about Marco, feel free to come join us.
Yeah, so the live stream will have an empty chair. Anything can and will happen, so make sure you tune into that because that's going to be crazy. Also, I want to say a very special thank you to Raybert Media for providing all of the equipment for this episode of the podcast. As you can tell, the past 6 episodes of the podcast, camera quality has been top-notch, and I want to give a special thank you to Raybert Media for that. If you need any videography, photography, when I said that in such a weird way, videography or photography done, be it commercial, wedding, family portraits, any sort of things, go ahead and go to raybertmedia.com. That's ROEBERTMEDIA.com. There we go. And with that, Jordan, I'm letting you take over.
Yes,
completely.
I am so excited. I have come to y'all's bait and tackle shop so many times, and to be honest, it took the first 5 times or so before I was like, hey, do you guys want to maybe do a podcast? But I would just love to know what gave you guys the inspiration to start your bait and tackle place on the island.
Sure,
if you could hold about 3 inches from your
okay.
mouth. Yeah,
sure,
perfect.
That's a great question actually. So my wife and I, we moved over to Marco Island in the summer of 2020, and we're originally from Florida, and everywhere that we've lived throughout Florida and the Caribbean, there's always been a local bait shop to tie the local fishing community together, to pass it on to the next generation of fishermen and everything like that. And when we moved here, we noticed that there really wasn't its own standalone bait and tackle shop, right? So we fell in love with the area. So we wanted to bring, I come from a network of exotic baits throughout Florida.
Right.
that have never been to this area before. So I was like, wow, wouldn't it be great to bring Atlantic croakers from Mosquito Lagoon, where I'm from, to the area, or mud minnows, from northern Florida, or live sand fleas from the East Coast and everything like that, So I just wanted this is such a unique fishing habitat, with us being located in the historic 10,000 Islands. I only thought that it was proper to have the best bait shop around that offers baits that never been here before for the particular geographical location that we're in, because not every bait shop or town like we are, Marco Island, is located where we are.
Right.
If you
We're in such a unique location.
That's what I try to stress to people, is that the habitat here is the only one in the world, right? There's no other Everglades in the entire world. This is it, and we're a part of it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I really wanted to bring a different class and level of fishing to the area that really hasn't been here before. No fault of anyone else or whatever. It's just progression and everything like that. I just wanted to bring a lot of knowledge and a lot of other baits to the area, so we can go and fish these unique waters that we have around here. So that was, in a long-winded way, that was my motivation of doing it, because I've been fishing my entire life, professionally, for decades, and I look at an area in a fishing sense, and when I was here, I was like, this place is definitely one of the best fishing habitats in the world, and we need a bait and tackle shop to support that kind of habitat.
Yeah, that's great. So I have a quick question. I feel like what would be the correct terminology here? I feel like a heretic, because I've lived in Florida my entire life and I rarely go fishing. So for the layman, and for anyone listening on the podcast who might not know all too much about fishing, maybe has gone fishing very few times as a hobby, what is the benefit of live bait and what you are providing over going to 7-Eleven and getting frozen krill or whatever?
Correct. So
yeah,
I know exactly,
because I know that you've got a ton of penny pinchers around here who are just going to be like, oh, well, I'm just going to get that because it's cheaper. So what are you bringing to the table?
Understood. So what we bring to the table that really no one offers,
right?
Alone with live bait, let's talk about the live bait aspect over frozen baits, because that is a huge categorical difference right there. The advantage of using live bait, say, over frozen bait, is that you're actually it's called matching the hatch, right? You're matching exactly what that fish is feeding on at that particular moment, or you're enticing them with something that they've never seen before, that's live and moving around and acting very natural, right? So with fish, I guess you could say they're coded naturally to have instinctual strikes and everything like that when they see certain type of bait fish or shrimp or whatever. So you only get that instinctual bite when you're using a live bait, because it's acting natural, When a bait starts to not act natural is when the fish starts to go, that's a little weird, right? And especially in these waters, because the waters, the fish here are extremely hook shy and line shy. So if the bait seems out of character, most likely the fish won't even come near your baits, right? So when you use a live bait, you're using something that's in the natural habitats that is acting natural. So you're just mirroring something that they would instinctually go for without even hesitation, right? So say you're using say you decide to use a frozen shrimp, you're not getting the full effect. It's not swimming around, it's not moving its little legs, it doesn't have the color, so there are certain types of fish out there that when in a millisecond, they register that in their brain, and when they don't see that in the bait, they move on to something else. Right? So that's why a lot of the times when people use frozen baits, they just catch a bunch of catfish or whatever, because those kind of fish, they really don't care because they're just scavengers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're going for particular species or sport fish or whatever, particular tarpon, trout, snook, stuff like that, they are so specific in their diets or whatever, that they won't even really. It's to say you won't catch them on a frozen bait would be a lie, but it's a lot more difficult, and you don't get the aggressive nature you do when you throw a live bait in front of their face,
Yeah, I definitely used to use some of the frozen stuff until, I would drive by to go to like a little past Goodland, and I saw you guys, and I was like, wait a minute. This is way different than some of the places that just kind of have a little bit of stuff to kind of cater to the fishing community. But you guys have all the different racks, and it looks like you guys are very family friendly. You guys have all the little poles for the kiddos.
Yep. We love the kids.
And it's definitely just a really cool thing to witness and see.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate that.
I definitely have to look at my phone because I have
Yeah.
so many questions and I
Sure,
get
no
so
worries.
excited.
I also so this is my first time ever walking in here. Also, to peel back the curtain a little bit. Most of the time, I know like the people that we are interviewing. I just realized you're so much taller than me in frame. This is very fitting today.
I think you move your seat up.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
No. The posture corrector is working now. Well, no, if you fix your posture too much, you go out of frame.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I don't mind slouching. I'm comfortable.
This is my relaxed state right here.
Most of the time, like I'm like, finding the guests and like talking to them and like communicating with everybody and like for the city council episodes, I communicated with everybody, planned out when we were going to do everything. I didn't lift a finger for this. This was all Jordan, and I am so excited because I know nothing, and I'm going into this completely blind. And
Now you get to see how it feels.
Yeah, no. This is my first time ever walking in here. I've been looking at this building for years, wondering, it's like, what the heck are they going to do with this thing? It's like, it looks like a barn. It's like back years ago. Because did you buy this building like half built?
Yeah, so all there was just a roof here.
Yeah.
I called it an empty shell, right?
Yeah.
And the first time I drove by, I literally envisioned this. I was like, this is where our bait shop needs to go.
No, this is great. I love the I love the way that it looks in here.
Thank you.
It's very industrial, but also it's very aesthetically pleasing over here and everything. So Marco Island.
Yeah.
It's done so much better. I don't know. I really like the aesthetics of this place, and it makes me happy to see that something has finally been done with what used to be an eyesore. And now it's actually a very, very nice looking place.
Well, and that's
Thank
what we
you.
were going for, because we wanted to, we enjoy being a part of the community. We wanted to improve it. We wanted to bring something that's never been here before. And what better way to do it in a venue like this where, it just sat here vacant for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, so many people are like, what's this going to be or whatever,
Yeah.
And lo and behold, people didn't know this is going to be the first, standalone, legit live bait and tackle shop that Marco Island, has to offer.
Yeah. Well, a couple things come to mind real quick from this little blurb of conversation. This mural you guys have, I absolutely love it, and I was
Thank you.
wondering if you guys could give a little shout out to the artist or any information as to why it looks the way it looks.
Absolutely.
Yes, he is an amazing, talented Marco Island native. His name is JJ or Jarrett Stinchcombe, and he's just amazing.
Yes.
And he did this for us, and we're just
Not just an amazing artist, but an amazing human being as well. So
Yes.
it fit perfectly for him to be doing something so close to our heart, such as this, So it was.
And he came up with the idea for inshore on this side and offshore over here,
Yeah.
the best of both worlds of 10,000 islands in the
Marco
Gulf
Island.
of Mexico, Marco Island,
Yep.
and
I
all
love
that
that. And I believe you had mentioned earlier, Mike, that is a representation of your boat because you're a
Yeah.
professional fisher.
Correct. Yeah. So I spent a long time in the Caribbean, the Virgin Islands, the U.S. Virgin Islands to be exact, St. Thomas, and that was my boat that I purchased down there, and I turned into a charter business and a commercial fishing business as well for for the Virgin Islands.
Awesome. And so since you guys go out and get your bait, I was wondering if you could give like a little recap or day in the life kind of on how you guys go out and
Sure.
bring everything here.
That was the only question that I had thought of beforehand.
and another great question. So, like I said, I come from a very good network of bait where I grew up and everything was heavily in the bait. My family is heavily in the fishing scene. So with that came with a lot of connections for bait. So I have designated shrimp boats. I have designated boats that go for me for crab, for pinfish, for croakers, for mud minnows, for live sand fleas. Well, actually, there's no boat for that. Some guy rakes them on a beach, right? But anyhow, I have someone specifically for each species that fishes and catches just for my shop.
That's awesome.
So with shrimp, right? Everyone around here gets shrimp locally from the yellow shrimp truck or whatever. You know, we source our own baits. So I go and I built my own custom bait truck, and I go and I meet the shrimp boat somewhere in Florida, because I get shrimp in northern Florida and in South Florida as well, you know, just depending on the time of the year. So depending on the time of the year, I usually meet the shrimp boat either from the hours of 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. in the morning. So I leave Marco that night, don't sleep, go there, meet the shrimp boat at the dock as it's pulling in, and the shrimp go right from the boat into the back of my truck, and I bring it right to the shop.
So do you have one of these giant bucket like industrial pools in
Do you
the
have
truck?
a kiddie pool in the truck?
Kind of, yeah. So it's designed to fit a bed of a truck, right? So it's rectangular in shape. It has a couple of different tanks within the big main tank and everything. It was of my own design, but yeah, I basically built a custom bait tank to fit the back of my truck specifically for hauling all those baits that I said. So
That's awesome.
so it's not circular,
That's
it's
insane.
rectangular, but it is a
That's so-
tank that goes in the back. And if you see me driving down the road, you'll see it.
It's like
for
it's
sure.
like a big water tank. Like you would-
100%.
that-
Yeah.
That's,
Yep.
But it's just full of shrimp.
Yes.
That's
Shrimp
wild.
or pinfish
Or whatever.
whatever that trip is. You know,
Yeah.
we do a lot of shrimp.
Lot of shrimp.
We go through a lot of shrimp here.
I've noticed. I've
So
seen
the
like
main
5 people
runs are
come and ask for shrimp.
When I go for pinfish and crab, usually it's not that drastic. You know, I meet them in the later hours of the
Yeah.
morning. It's not so
At a
crazy.
more reasonable time.
More reasonable time, right? You know, so but we the shrimp is what the crazy runs are. You know,
I just like how like seedy that sounded. Like at 4 a.m. I have to go
Yeah.
up in northern Florida
Yeah.
and meet my shrimp guy.
Yeah.
The moment he comes
Yeah.
off the docks, I have to go out there.
I
back up to
literally-
the dock.
me and her joke all the time. I feel like we're back in the 1980s, if you know what I mean,
Yeah.
making runs and everything like that. You know, back in Florida. You know,
Yeah.
so like
shrimp. Got it. Got
shrimp.
it.
You know, like
Yeah.
square groupers. You know,
Yeah.
we got square shrimp now. You know, so
Yeah.
just joking, authorities. There's
Yeah.
nothing legal there. That's
Yeah.
all live shrimp.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for your truck, do these garage doors, are they for function or for design?
Both. So we do deliveries in the back, right? So the front is for future plans. We are going to develop the concrete pad out there to where we're going to utilize that as part of the shop. And like I said, I wanted to start this shop to be a part of the fishing community and give back, because one thing about me growing up my entire life in Florida is that fishing really was an instrumental part of my life, and it set me and so many other people that I know in a great direction in life and everything. And if I can instill that or pass that on to someone else, just like one other person, then I feel like I did my part, right? You know, because I wouldn't have had the life I had if I did not fish. And I would not trade it in for anything in the world at all.
Yeah. So yes, coming soon. It'll be used for seminars, youth camps, summer camp, parties, things like that.
That's
Demonstrations.
awesome.
Yeah.
I have my family being so connected down in the Florida Keys and everything like that. We have literally legendary top fishermen that have TV shows right now that are dying to do expos right outside my shop.
That'll be really
to
cool.
share their knowledge of decades of. I mean, there's guys that knots are made out of that want to do exhibitions here to pass on knowledge and everything like that. So.
That's
Exciting.
amazing. In
Yeah.
y'all's
Let
future,
us know when it's happening, so
Oh,
we'll come
yes.
back.
That'd be awesome. In the future for you guys, would you ever plan on maybe kind of hosting your own tournaments or maybe going back into the
Absolutely.
charter? kind
No,
of?
not so much the charter, but definitely tournaments.
Yes.
Another major reason why I started this is that I want to give back to the habitat of Florida. We all see, over the years what happens, and we want to gear. Let's just say there's going to be future fishing tournaments here in this area that are geared for the habitat to give back to the habitat that we all fish in. If that makes any sense at all,
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we'll talk because I've just found out I'm going to be on the beautification committee. So,
Congratulations.
yeah, no, this podcast has done wonders for me.
Congratulations! Congratulations! That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's great.
So we'll
Please.
I
I would
agree.
love-
That's all I want is for the habitat to be doing well around here.
Yes.
So,
Because if we don't
Agreed.
have a habitat, we don't have the area anymore.
Yeah, I know.
And that's what I try to drive through people's head here is like we have to take care of our habitat,
Oh,
or
yeah.
else we're not going to have a Marco Island left.
yeah,
Right? Or Florida in that matter, because
yeah. Keeping Florida wild.
yeah, exactly. Keep it green.
Yeah. All right. So I was my main question was going to be like walk me through like a day. Well, okay. So outside of the shrimp boat dealings at 4 a.m, what is a usual like day in the life look like? Like from open to close at the bait shop. Which how long have y'all been open first?
4 years.
4 years now,
Yes.
okay.
At our other location, 2 years, and then almost 2 years here.
Okay,
at
got
this
it.
location.
Okay, so then what is the so here now? Now that we're season is finally starting to ramp up. I mean, it's been such a slog of a season. Just
It
the
has.
hurricane and the
Hurricanes.
election.
It was
just
the
hit us
weather.
so hard.
Yeah, more so anyhow.
Yes.
Yeah. But also the election. People were staying home so that they could vote.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
But so what does a usual day in the life look like?
Usually he's on the road. So right now we just have it's me and him and our little 2.5-year-old toddler who will be working soon enough.
He can count up to 24.
He can count to
So
24.
we're at 2 dozen right now.
Yeah.
So,
So
we
he's
just need a
almost
little
there.
more dozens there, and we're good to go.
But it's usually just me. We do have some local high schoolers that help out when they can.
And they're awesome.
And they are awesome, along with like a local captain that helps us out sometimes.
And he's awesome too, yeah.
And we're very lucky to have them on our team. But for the most part, it's just myself and Mike, and he's on the road. I get here about 5:30 a.m. And believe it or not, we open at 6 a.m. And 6 a.m. is
You got
our
people
most
knocking down
popular
the door, yeah.
hour.
Yep.
And they're here before I get here sometimes. And
Really
so
gets the word.
6 a.m. it starts, and just start with the shrimp. Shrimp is the most popular. When the weather's really good, it gets really busy.
Yeah.
So and then we sell more things like frozen baits to use offshore and stuff like that. But for the most part, shrimp is the number one.
So she's
seller.
basically dipping shrimp as soon as she gets
Yeah.
them. And we go through, we do, when we first open up, we do what I call like bait husbandry, take care of them, sort them, feed them, make sure they're good to go.
We take very good care of our baits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say we take care of our baits better than any other bait shop in the state of Florida. It's just how I am and how I've always been fishing professionally, just with great baits. You got to have good baits to have good fishing, right? So we pride ourselves on that.
I have another one if you're
Yeah, of course.
So then a kind of dang it completely just escaped me as I was saying that. Go.
It happens to me too.
Yeah.
Trust me, bro.
Wait. Unless you actually have a question,
I have like a little blurb that I can say.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah. Well, I think
I was just gonna say that from sitting here, and me as well. Y'all sell your little custom buckets that have like the nice little vents on the top,
Oh, yeah.
and I have seen more often than not everybody come back and be loyal with those buckets instead of
Yeah.
just kind of grabbing some random Home Depot bucket and bringing it in. But
Cool.
I also love y'all's O-tabs. I've never seen those anywhere, and they are awesome.
Yeah.
If you guys might want to kind of explain what those are.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah, O-tabs, they're the OG aerator. They've been around since like the 1940s, you know what I'm saying? And what they are, the best way I can explain it is like it's like an Alka-Seltzer pill for your bait. It's a little tab, a metal tab with some sort of chemical in there that when you take the top off and you put it into water, it immediately starts to fizz and create oxygen bubbles for your live bait to keep them fresh.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
I actually have a question this time. What has been the toughest challenge with opening up a business on Marco?
The toughest challenge.
Or maybe something that, of course, last time I asked this question of a business owner, they said money. So maybe other than that,
Believe it wasn't money.
yeah.
I would say permitting and
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah.
all
Yes.
that.
So that has been.
I hear that story a lot.
Yes.
Out of everything that has been the most difficult to deal with.
I imagine the permitting would be a nightmare just with those.
Yeah, it was just it's a very interesting experience. Let's just say that, you know.
So outside of permitting, what was something that maybe you didn't expect going into, because coming from you know the fishing industry
Correct.
well,
Correct.
and you've been around bait and tackle
Yes.
your entire life. What was something that y'all didn't really expect going into this?
And that's a very easy question to answer. The weather, you know. We were open for a year and a half before Ian hit, you know, and it just seemed like the weather took a turn for the worse ever since Ian. Like, it's just been, to me, in my opinion, unnaturally bad weather in Florida the last few years and everything like that. So things out of our control, like the weather, right? You know, so I could never in a million years, like I said, we've lived in Florida our whole lives, except when we lived in the Caribbean and everything. And there we dealt with hurricanes there. We dealt with hurricanes in Florida for our entire lives. We never experienced anything like that with Ian. And it totally threw us off guard. And we almost lost everything, you know? So that was something that I could have never have seen coming in a million years. And I don't...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ian was a once in a lifetime storm.
I think
at least I thought.
For most Floridians, 100%, my
Yeah.
friend. I've never seen... and I was in the Coast Guard, so I've been through storms. You know, I got awards for. I was stationed in Key West, so I was directly involved in the hurricane season of 04 and 05, where we had so many hurricanes.
I was in the. Go ahead and pause. I will remember.
Yeah.
I will remember exactly where I am because I'm about to talk about the 06 hurricane season.
Oh.
which was even that one was that. Wait, was it? Katrina was
05.
05. The 05 hurricane season I'm about to talk about.
That's where I got 2 letters of commendation for that hurricane season.
Really?
I pulled people out of Hurricane Charlie and Hurricane Ivan.
Oh, okay. You know, we actually don't
Ivan
necessarily have to pause because I actually can't hear anything. We can keep talking if we want to.
keep talking.
Okay. Yeah. So, it makes it feel lively. Just.
Yeah, 100%.
So, in Hurricane Wilma.
Yeah,
Wilma, I was on the island. Or actually, no, I wasn't on the island. I was Hammock Bay. The 3 towers right off. They were building Tower 3.
While the hurricane was hitting.
Well, like, they didn't Wilma was another one of those storms that kind of made a turn
At the very end.
Every
before, yep.
single storm that has ever hit Marco was never supposed to hit Marco.
Imagine
It was
that.
within 6 hours. It was like, oh, actually, it's going to hit Marco Island.
What?
We've been hit by 3 named storms, 4 hurricanes. The hurricane of 1910, Hurricane Donna in 1963, Hurricane Wilma in 2005, and then Hurricane Irma in 2017.
Yeah.
Irma, I was here too. That was crazy. But oh goodness, we were at Hammock Bay. I was in one of the duplexes.
Yes.
My sister and I watched the crane that they were using to build Tower 3 just crumble and fall in the middle of the storm, like right before the eye wall was
That's
hitting.
crazy. You know, and you can't explain that to people until they experience it in a hurricane. You know, and that is very gnarly weather right there. See, I was directly 90 degrees from you on the East Coast.
Yeah.
I was in Fort Lauderdale for that storm, and
Wait,
it came
so
right
then-
across us to you guys and everything.
I'm trying to remember.
Right?
Here's the thing though. I was
All I know is I lost my vehicles in that storm.
Wait, no, I was 3, so I don't really remember.
Man, you're dating me now. I feel really old. You're
wait, it was 2005. Yeah, I was 3.
Good
I was
for you.
3.
Right on, man. That's awesome.
Wait, 2, 3. I might have been 4.
I was literally getting out of the Coast Guard that week.
Really?
That was the week that I was discharging from the Coast Guard.
Yeah.
And like,
I have to remember I'm a Zoomer. So
a
I'm
Zoomer.
yeah, I prefer calling Gen Z Zoomer.
I'm considered a millennial, actually. You know, like the beginning stages of the millennial area. Like,
There you go.
yeah, early '80s baby here.
Hurricane season 2005 was crazy.
That was
2017 was a crazy hurricane season. This
Yes.
one has been a pretty crazy one as well.
It's just, you know,
Helene and
Yeah.
Milton back to back was
Too close for
Stressful.
comfort. You know.
yeah. I stayed there during Milton.
Oh,
on
you
the
were
second
right across
floor.
the street.
Yeah, I stayed on the second floor. I actually
What's on the second floor there?
my office for Faith Broadcasting.
Oh, so you work for Faith Broadcasting
yes,
too?
yes,
Oh, wonderful.
yes.
Okay. Beautiful. Got
Yes.
it. All makes sense now. It's all making
Yes.
sense now. All right.
Yes. So
So you didn't have to travel far at all.
yeah. Well, actually, I got to go back up to the church after this. So I barely work on the island anymore because I moved my office up to the church because it was getting wildly inconvenient having to edit on the island and actually do all of my work up in Naples.
Yeah. No,
Anyway,
totally.
Yeah. This isn't about me. This is about you guys. So
So, since we do have still like a couple more minutes,
Yeah.
I just kind of have a couple last minute cool fun questions. I was wondering if, I mean, I know since you guys are still fairly new running the business and figuring everything out, if you do still have time to fish, I was wondering if there were any like local legends or local myths that you guys love to tell or love to hear about as far as fishing in the area.
I definitely wish I had a lot more time to fish. Unfortunately, I don't. I look at it as that like I vicariously live through my fishermen that come here and fisherwomen. So all the stories and pictures that they share with me, I'm like, cool, I was right there with you. You know what I'm saying? Because unfortunately, like, you know, like Laura said, I'm on the road a lot, you know, so kind of cuts down on the fishing time. Hopefully in the future, you know, that'll be more prevalent in my life again, you know. But some of the lure fishing and everything like that.
The what fishing?
The what?
The what?
The folklore fishing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The
The tarpon and
the tarp.
the tarpon.
I know
you know,
about the tarpon.
what said, you know, we, you know, I grew up in Florida, and I would always hear of the 10,000 islands of holding the biggest tarpon in Florida. And until I actually moved here and saw our 200-pound plus resident tarpon, couldn't believe it until I saw it. And this actually happened a couple of weeks ago, where one of my customers on one of our crabs caught the biggest tarpon that I've ever seen in my life. He took a picture of it. It was over 6 feet long.
That's crazy.
Over 6.
Goodness
This thing
me.
looked like a dinosaur next to the boat and everything. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how big it was. And that's
How much
when
did it weigh in that?
Oh, it probably 180 pounds, close to 200 pounds. The thing, the girth on it was like this big. It looked fake. It looked like a superimposed picture, right? Because like you
AI
get
generated tarpon.
you get the biggest tarpon I ever caught. Was down in Islamorada, and that might have been 5 feet. But I was like 10 or 11 years old at the time, and everything looks way bigger then or whatever. So my uncle could have been telling me a story. Oh, that was a 6-footer. You know what I'm saying? Until I saw that picture of a real 6-footer, I realized that wasn't a 6-footer that I caught like when I was 10 years old. Because this thing was just so massive and everything. So
It's wild.
we love hearing about the fishing for these legendary resident tarpon that are just the biggest in the state of Florida.
Do you ever go to the Bistro Soleil before they closed down?
The where?
The Bistro Soleil.
No.
Okay. The old Marco Inn was the first hotel on Marco.
Yeah.
It was built in 1891.
Right.
It was a French restaurant called the Bistro Soleil up until it had to close because of it did not pass safety inspection after Ian. So they've been closed for about 2 years now. But the second that you walk in those doors,
Yeah.
on the wall they have these framed tarpon scales.
Oh,
Where,
yeah.
all along the walls.
I know what you're
and
talking about. They're like this big and everything.
Yeah. And the most recent one that they have is from like 1953, and the oldest one that they have is from 1913.
See, that's what I'm talking about right there.
Yeah, because they charged $2 a night to stay at Old Marco Inn, which was actually insanely expensive.
Yeah,
because it
back
was
then.
Yeah, it was. The standard rate was like 25 cents a night. So yeah, it was 4 times the cost because Captain Bill
Marco,
Collier.
of course,
Captain Bill Collier was putting out this like legend of like this is the tarpon fishing capital of the world. It's like you throw in your line and then within minutes you get out a tarpon.
I'm sure they had
like,
a lot of dog pets.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Dog pets are like dog puppies. It's like a bunch of the fish that just kind of live over in the docks.
Yeah,
You
they
get
just hang
all
out in the
like
dock. It's like their own
You cut
home.
up fish up there, and then they get all the dead stuff, and they get huge.
I don't know. Yeah,
A lot of
They
places
get
Trust me, I
used to
don't really
being
know.
fed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that I know about history. I don't know much about fishing, so you were able to scratch my itch for a second.
Yeah.
You had more that you wanted to do.
Yes, yes. Well, you kind of tied it in because I was going to see if there were any stories that stuck out to you guys. If you had any more besides the tarpon one, or
Stories.
There's been like some interesting fish caught in like the freshwater lakes here, which is kind of cool by like the younger kids. Big groupers and stuff like that, just random. And then a lot of our offshore local captains have some pretty epic days, and our a lot of our customers offshore with like big grouper snappers and cobia, stuff like that. So they do pretty well out there when the weather's good. So
that's awesome.
yeah.
And also another, I guess you can say like folklore to the area too is the permit fishing here is some of the last in the world, in my opinion, where you have schools of hundreds of them. My family comes from the Keys and actually started a very prestigious permit tournament in the Lower Keys, and the number, it's just they're very far and few between, right? And then you come to an area like here and they school like schools of fish like I've never seen before, and that creates a lore too down in the Keys and everything. Like, hey, there's still this area, this little corner pocket of Florida where these permits school up and create, they call it a mud pile and everything like that. It's just really really unique, and that's what we really love hearing about. Because like I said, there's nowhere else in the world that really does that.
Yeah. When you first said permit fish, I thought you were talking about like getting a fishing permit. It shows how much I know.
No
We're
pun intended.
we're just about out of time here. So is there anything else that you wanted to mention on the podcast while you've got this platform to be able to say anything that you want? Hot takes, complex political views that will get us immediately pulled off the air.
How much time you got? No. Yeah.
Is there anything that you wanted to shout out before we finish off this wonderful Christmas week episode here?
Yeah. First of all, Merry Christmas to everybody, and that Laura and myself, we once again we come from a fishing community and everything like that, and we strive to bring the best quality baits to the area,
Right.
that's possible. We pretty much bend over backwards to make sure that our baits are good, before we're good, so we can provide the best for our customer,
Right,
So, and that's what I'd like to stress, is that, when you come here, you're always going to get the best baits,
Right.
with the best service and the best advice,
Cool.
I really admire y'all's commitment to the fishing community. For this
Thank
week,
you.
Are there any different times you guys are open? Any holiday promotions that you guys are doing?
So we're open Christmas Eve and close Christmas Day, and back open at 6 a.m. The day after Christmas. And I think the weather is looking pretty good, so we're here we'll be loaded up with live bait for sure. And then other than that, we have a lot of really good Christmas gifts.
Yeah, so if you need any last minute Christmas gift
Yeah,
ideas,
we do gift
Last
cer-
second at this point.
Yeah, last second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because based on our watching metrics, you are watching this on Christmas Eve. So
We will be open until 4 p.m., so
Yeah.
you're more than welcome to rush in. So.
Yeah.
We got gift certificates and all kinds of cool tackle, rods, reels, knives, stocking stuffers, So
Awesome.
we're all
All
ready.
right. So where can they find y'all? Give them a rundown. Where are you at? And also, if they want to follow you on social media, look at your website, where can they find you?
Sure. Social media?
We are on Facebook. We have a Facebook page and an Instagram. And then we are located at 1860 San Marco Road, which is right next to Island Garden Center, if you're familiar with this area.
It's
over here.
right across Big Publix.
Yeah.
Very, very close by. If I've described to you where I work before, it's right across from there.
Yeah.
So if you know me, it's right across from there.
Literally across the street.
Not racetrack. The other place I work. Anyway,
And our social media handles are at Marco Island Bait and Tackle.
that's very easy.
Awesome.
And ampersand or AND?
A&D.
Okay,
A&D.
cool. Got it. That's important. That's important.
Actually, it makes a big
Yeah.
difference.
Of course. And Ryan, where can they find you?
You can find me. I'm taking this thing out because I know that I can control my microphone. Actually, I feel completely unconfident in myself now, so I'm going to just shove that in really quick. It was very uncomfortable. You can find me at www.ryanmsullivan.com. You can find all of my stuff there. You can find my events hosting. Also, I do karaoke now. So if you need someone to host karaoke, if you need someone to do live music, if you need someone to host trivia night, if you need someone to host Jeopardy, that's me. So you can find that all on my website. You can also find this podcast and my other podcast, which might be seeing a new episode sometime soon. Who knows? He's coming into town. But also you can find me on social media at Real Ryan Sullivan. That's RealRyanSullivan. Jordan, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at JGKraley03 and a couple other little announcements.
I was just about
my
to say,
side.
do you want to? Yeah.
For starters, I am officially a small business. I have my LLC for social media marketing. So Current Creations LLC is official. If you need anybody, hit me up. And there will be an event that I'm hosting that Good Morning Marco will hopefully be at. And
Will be at. I got rehearsal
We'll be
off
there.
that day, so.
On January 11th, there will be a dementia awareness event over at Veterans Park. It would mean the most to me if you guys could come out. It's in honor of my mother. If you own a small business on Marco and are willing to donate anything for little raffle baskets, please contact me. You can DM us on the Good Morning Marco podcast, and I'll give you my number. And yeah, just really hope to see all of you guys there. So.
Wonderful. And don't forget, so that will be, what day is that?
January 11th.
January 11th. Also, this upcoming Monday, don't forget, we have our Good Morning Marco end of year party, which is going to be at the one and the only the Kava Culture, which the party will start at 7 p.m. and then we will have the live stream starting at 8 p.m. So if you want to have a platform to say anything that you want on the internet in front of tens to hundreds of strangers, then go ahead and come and sit in the hot seat for a few minutes on we should make sure that we have a timer that we don't allow anyone to go over, because I could see this going terribly wrong. I'm very excited. With that,
Mike and Laura, thank you guys for coming on. You are official friends of the podcast.
Oh, and
I think
thank
that's
you
the
so
first time I've
much.
said
Yes,
it is the
thank
first time you said that.
We're so excited. We appreciate you so much, and
Yes.
we feel honored that you wanted to do a
Yes.
podcast with
Thank
us.
you for
so.
having us.
I'm excited for me to finally have had an episode where I'm just like, I'm just going to sit here and watch and listen and learn. I listened to women today, so I was
There you go. There you go.
I was holding space
you
for
know,
you,
you know.
Jordan.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
was holding space.
A space holder.
And with that, do you want to say it? Because this is like your episode. Do you know the?
No,
how
you
to-
say it.
Okay,
I'll say
cool.
no.
All right, everyone, a very special Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
From us.
Merry Christmas.
Hope that everything, Santa's bringing some special goodies on his sleigh to you tomorrow evening, or if you're watching this after Christmas, a very happy New Year. With
And
that,
to all a good night.
yeah, and to all a good night, and to all a good morning.
Yeah.
Oh.
There you go.
Yeah. Also, buy the hat. With that, buy it for somebody for Christmas. DM us on Instagram, and I'll bring it to you. I will deliver it to your house to get it to you before Christmas.
Special
It looks
delivery.
nice. You can have that one.
Yay.
And with that, thank you so much for watching. It really does mean the most, and we will see you all in the next one.
Thank you.
Bye. Merry Christmas.
All right. Thank you.